how much vote can the AAP afford to lose and still be in front? Remember, this is not a poll. This is just a scenario mapping that we are doing, and I'll take you through those numbers. What will it take for the BJP to get an upper hand, if it is to get an upper hand against the Aam Aadmi Party, and how much can the AAP afford to slip and yet win? So if you look at the 12 reserved seats in Delhi, so the AAP there had 58% votes and the BJP had 35% of the votes. In the Muslim influence seats, the AAP had 60% votes, the BJP had 33% votes. In the other general category seats, the AAP had 51% vote, the BJP had 41% of the vote. The total vote share was roughly 39 versus 54. Now, if the BJP goes up 6% and the AAP comes down 6%, in the simulation that's been done by Amitabh Tiwari, in the 12 reserved seats, the AAP would still have the lead. 52% votes for the AAP, 41% for the BJP, AAP with 9 of those 12 seats, BJP with only 3. In the 9 Muslim-dominated seats, if the BJP gains 6%, it goes to 39, AAP goes to 54, then AAP has 6, the BJP has 3. If in the 49 other seats, you see the BJP go up by 6%, then the BJP goes up to 47, AAP comes down to 45, and then it becomes 19 versus 30. So you got the BJP now leading at 30, which would then mean that the overall vote share would be AAP coming down to 48 from 54, BJP going up to 46 from about 39, and BJP at 36, AAP at 34. So there are, to my mind, there's a trifecta of issues which really need to be looked at. And let's spend a moment, talking about that. One is, there is a certain middle-class Modi voter who isn't inspired by the Delhi BJP. He goes and votes for AAP in the assembly, even though he's a Modi Bhakt in the Lok Sabha. So that's challenge number one. Challenge number two, and that's the role of the Congress party, the Muslims had moved en masse towards the Aam Aadmi Party in the last 2 assembly elections. Some of them feel that the AAP didn't do enough after the riots, didn't stand up strongly. Rahul Gandhi came to Northeast Delhi after the riots. Kejriwal didn't say enough, and therefore some of them are feeling disenchanted. They don't want to waste their votes. They don't want to move en masse to the Congress because they realize that's a lost and wasted vote. But some part may be disenchanted enough not to want to vote for AAP and want to go back to the Congress. Then there is the Jhuggi vote. Usually when we travel to the Jhuggis in the capital, 90% of the voters you meet there are saying, we want to vote for AAP. Now, some part of that, and this happened when we were traveling on the campaign trail, some Jhuggiwalas are now saying they still have problems with sewage, with water, with toilets, which they very clearly do, which was the civic issues you saw in that chart. And some of them, and the BJP has done a lot of work in the last 1 year in those Jhuggi clusters to try and break the AAP voter. The extent to which they move away, the extent to which some of the Jhuggi vote moves away from the Aam Aadmi Party. So basically, there's a trifecta of vulnerabilities which you need to capitalize on. But Rajat Sethi, what gives the AAP confidence or some hope is that their starting point is very high. So they really need to slip a lot to lose. You're starting high, so you can afford to lose. It's like a first innings lead. You have a big first innings lead. On the back of that lead, you need to really crash in the second innings to lose this election. You can slip some and still end up winning with a lesser margin, but still win.
Well, I beg to differ here, Rahul. Principally because BJP and Aam Aadmi Party, as their core ideology, the amount of votes that they've been able to cultivate is anywhere between 30 to 35%. But Delhi, over a couple of at least 3 past elections, has seen a wave election in the favor of Aam Aadmi Party. And Aam Aadmi Party and Kejriwal, they used to bring this dichotomy ki center mein to Modi hai, state mein Kejriwal hai. He had that confidence, and he went on to create a new sort of landscape for a new type of a politics that he's going to bring in, where the slugfest of the BJP Congress was not to be fought on. So there were this 20%, ideology-less voters who were swayed by the persona that he was bringing. He was trying to create a new charter for Indian politics, seen as a new example. In the current election, what we are seeing is that Kejriwal now is cut out of the same cloth as all the other political parties. So that 20% which helped him bring in every time result into a wave election, that is absent. Now that 20%, Certainly, there is no way for BJP also. But BJP, all that it needs to do, because it has such a strong bench strength, that it can have and unleash its leaders to go into every nook and corner and speak to them. Now they have a positive agenda with the budget, addressing some of the needs of the middle class, etc. They can now look eye in eye and say that yes, we are bringing positive politics as well. And this is where the Aam Aadmi Party, towards the last leg, towards the last 10 days, seems to be feeling this heat. They do not have that big a bench strength. Their core leaders are stuck in their own seats. Kejriwal is struggling in his own seat. Sisodia is struggling in his own seat. Patparganj and the other strongholds of the Aam Aadmi Party are all right now struggling seats. And this is why Arvind Kejriwal is not able to come out like a lion and roar from the central Delhi, Chandni Chowk, etc., and give a very different positive message which could help, conjure a wave in his favor. Minus the wave, you go back to the core constituents of each party. And I believe this is where the BJP's sort of calculation is beginning. This is where BJP feels that all it needs to do is ensure that it holds on to its core voters who have voted for it during the Lok Sabha election very tightly.